Call the city council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Cadella. Alderman Coles.
Here.
Alderman Lewiton.
Present.
Alderman Police.
Here.
Alderman Shockey.
Here.
Alderman Eugene Wesley. Alderman Roy Wesley.
Here.
Alderman Winger.
Here.
Mayor Johnson.
Here. Quorum be present. Would you stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? May I have a motion to approve the minutes, September 17th, 2009? Anybody want to make a motion to approve the minute? Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, corrections, additions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Bills, Alderman Winger?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion, and I will do 4 individual motions. There are 4 list of bills. The first being I make a motion to approve a list of bills dated October 15, 2009 for $283,200.97.
I'll second it.
Alderman Shockey?
On page 3, the top item from AT&T, it's an Ethan Woods alarm line. The city is taking care of that.
Mr. Forrest?
That's for the pump over there, isn't it?
Ethan Woods.
Yes, I believe that is for that storm sewer lift station, the telemetry alarm.
So we're taking charge of that, or,
I believe we had some issue with that in the past. I'll have to go back and do some history as far as when we actually did take that over. But I know since either they had not turned it over to us, we felt in the best interest of the nearby residents that we took that over and then monitored that through our supervisory alarm panel.
thank you.
Anything further? Roll call.
Alderman Lewiton.
I'm sorry. Alderman, please.
Yeah, page 17. Roger Marquardt.
Markwood.
When we stop, when does that stop?
When the city council decides to do so, I spoke with him today, told him that the mayor would like to set up a meeting sometime in the next week or two to talk about that contract. It's my opinion that we probably ought to terminate that fairly soon, but the mayor asked me to set up a meeting with him, Mr. Marquardt, and myself, at which point we'll bring something back to the council.
One more.
Alderman, please.
On page 2, AECom, Professional Engineering Services, Wooddale, looks like Wooddale Ocean Park Road. What is that? Sorry. What did I?
I believe that's the current CTE Engineering, or the new name for CTE Engineering.
Correct. That is the new name for CTE, and it is continuing work on the grade separation study for Wooddale and Irving Park Road.
Okay.
Anything further? Roll call.
Alderman Lewiton. Yes. Alderman Police.
Yes.
Alderman Winger.
Yes.
Alderman Coles.
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley.
Yes.
Alderman Shockey.
Yes,
That passes. Alderman Winger, before you go on without objection, I'm going to skip down to Mayor's report, and we'll turn it over to Chief Binowitz.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, I'd like to bring to the council and our citizens' attention some of the recognition that we'd like to give to some of our police officers here tonight, also to some partnerships that we've formed with our community. First, I'd like to start with, if I can have Charlie Woolley, Officer Campbell, Officer Ellen Pycook, and Officer John Pohl come forward. If you guys can kind of... Every year, we set our goals and objectives as a department. And one of the things that we've been doing for the last several years, since 2005, is placing an emphasis on impaired driving, identification, and detention. We've made some big inroads with regards to this. We've worked in conjunction with the Alliance Against Intoxicated Motorists, and these 3 officers are to be commended and recognized by AIM for their efforts with regards to not only the detection but apprehension of intoxicated motorists. I've come across a little bit of information, and as a police department, we gather a lot of information, a lot of statistics, and we try to measure as much as we can. Recently, I was meeting with the area chiefs, and we all were talking about we took notice of the fact that our detection and arrest rate for this last year has dropped off a little bit. We did a little bit of further studying, and we found that every one of the towns in question, and that was about 5 up here in the northeast corner of DuPage County, had seen it uniformly decrease, anywhere from 15 to 21%. I'm not sure what that's attributed to. It might be attributed to a downturn in the economy. It might be directly attributed to the effort of not only all our police officers, but specifically, more directly, to these 3 officers here. I'm just enjoying the fact that we're taking we're at least putting a lot of people that are out there, we're not placing them in peril. And it's because of the efforts of not only these people, but everybody else on the police department that puts on a uniform, takes a squad car out, and makes a value statement about what we're going to stand for. And with that, this evening, we're going to be awarding these officers a plaque from AIM, and I'm going to now turn it over to Charlie Woolley, representative from AIM, with regards to their organization and the support that they give us.
Good evening, everybody. Mayor, Chief Benowitz, and the officers and community of Wooddale. Thank you for allowing me to speak once again this year. For those of you, I know most of you know this already, but my stepson Eric was killed at the intersection of Wooddale and Thorndale Road in June 2000. He was 17 years old, 2 weeks out of high school, when an impaired driver in a semi came through a light going over 60 miles an hour and hit him. That day, his brother, who is Nick Woolley, who just graduated from 8th grade, was supposed to be in the car with him. Had he been with him, he would have been killed instantly because the truck hit on the passenger side. AIM has been there for me and my family since 2000, going to court with us, helping us through the system, making us understand how things work. You have to be very patient because it takes a long time. It took 3.5 years, but because the officers from Wooddale and the task force and the chief did such a wonderful job and made sure that all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed, and they did a great investigation. The man who killed Eric was put in prison for 14 years. He will be there for 85% of that time. He will not get any time off for good behavior or for going to any classes or doing anything out of the ordinary. This is because of the persistence of the police officers in the village of Wooddale. So Wooddale, in some respects, has become sort of very near and dear to my heart. The men that are here, a lot of them were there the day of the crash. It's very important to get these drivers off the road. I try and speak as much as I can at village town hall meetings. If there are initiatives to be passed in the different villages or the towns, the high schools, wherever I can speak to get our family's story out about Eric and about what happened to him, trying to make sure that the drivers that are impaired stay off the road. So it's a great honor for me to be here tonight. I did want to pass along one other thing since I was here last. 6 weeks ago, this little guy came, and that's Nick's son. He was named after his uncle, Eric, and after his grandfather, Jerry. So Eric will always live on with us and this little boy. I'd like to thank you all very much for having me, and hope you have a good evening. And please tell your friends, your family, anybody that you talk to. It's very important. It is against the law to drink and drive. If they need to, they can call a police officer, they can call a cab, they can call a friend, a family member, they can stay in a hotel, but not to get behind the wheel and drive impaired. Thank you.
Mike, did you get enough shots? Okay, thanks. In closing, the Wooddale Police Department makes about 180, 190 DUI arrests a year. These 3 officers are being recognized as the top performers in this area by our command staff and by their fellow officers. And once again, we acknowledge their efforts, and good job, guys. Thank you. Mayor, if you could stay here for a minute. Guys, I'm going to do Target now, thanks. Okay. You guys can... You guys want to...
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
How are you? I'll tell Lori. I'm gonna tell Lori about it. Okay.
If I can have Vince Mariano and Steve Jacobson from Target stand up. Thank you. Since 2005, the Wooddale Police Department, well, we actually started in the 90s, but since 2005, we've been recognized nationally for our participation in National Night Out. National Night Out is a crime prevention incentive which was originally started by the Target to get people to know their neighbors, to try to make a decrease in crime by knowing who everybody is and making sure that the community is connected with the police department to suppress crime. Both to my left here, Vince Mariano, he's the executive leader for the asset protection for our Target here in Wooddale. And next to him is Steve Jacobson, who's a protective specialist. More importantly, though, we have found a partner in Target Corporation, or in Target stores. For the last, well, at least as long as I can remember, they have financially supported us with regards to the event that we sponsor within our community. More importantly, this last year, they've made a significant impact with a donation to help National Night Out by giving us $1,000 for that. Because of their donation, it helped us to create an event which is truly a community-oriented event, which will bring everybody, not only our elected officials and the police, but also our citizens together. Because of their generosity through their corporation, they've helped make that event and get it to the level that we all know where it's at right now. We're hoping that in 2009, we've just submitted our paperwork, but we're also hoping for another national recognition with regards to the effort that's put forth by our community to bring everybody together. But on another note, Target's also made another step that we'd like to acknowledge. As we all know, it's very, in these difficult days, it's very tough to support a lot of the needs of the police department. This year, we applied for, and through Vince's efforts, we were able to secure another $1,000 grant to the police department to acquire investigative equipment so that we can go about and do our job within the community and also assist people like Target when they're in their moment of need for our law enforcement support. So this year, in recognition of Target's contribution to the city of Wooddale in the amount of $2,000, we're presenting them with a plaque. And if you just hold it there for me for a minute, I do have my glasses on, I should be able to read it. Given in recognition for your outstanding community support in the sponsoring of the Wooddale Police Department's National Night Out and the Investigative Equipment Grant program, we are recognizing you with this plaque, and we hope that you place it in a noticeable place in the store so that everybody knows that you've developed a partnership with us, and that's the way we're going to be able to accomplish things together. So once again, thank you very much, Target, and I'd like to turn the microphone over to Vince for a few words. Vince?
Thank you. All right, thank you, Chief Benowitz. Thank you, City Council, and thank you everyone attending for inviting myself as well as the Assets Protection team to go ahead and say a few words. I know once I joined Target 3 years ago, I'd had the opportunity to go ahead and work with the police department as well as the associates of the community. I didn't know I'd have the opportunity to work with the community and the police department at this level. I'd like to go and thank each and every one of you for your contributions to the store, as well as your efforts in helping us improve the Assets Protection Division within Target. The community, as well as the team members, appreciate the fact that they could shop at a store within the Wooddale community and have a safe and secure presence while they do so. So on behalf of Target Corporation, I'd like to thank everyone here, and I'd like to also make sure that everyone understands and recognizes the fact that Chief Benowitz was not lying when he says we are one of the best programs out there. We are currently one of the top 25 programs in the nation as far as the preparedness with National Night Out and the partnerships we have. So I look forward to many more years of great partnerships and driving great results with the community as well as the police department. Thank you very much.
Mayor,
All right, thank you so much.
thanks, Vince, appreciate it. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Thanks, Council, I'd like to show their appreciation. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now. Yeah. Oh, you're done. Thanks, Mayor. Ryan, can I get you to come over here? Sure. Dan, can I get you to step up? Can you get my left over here? I have one more item on the list here that I'd like to cover. For the last several years, we've been trying to make sure that we get a lot of our new hires before the City Council. With keeping in the spirit of those things, I'd like to introduce Officer Dan Dross on my far left. Dan came to us about 7 months ago, back in March. He's a graduate of the University of Arkansas, where he got his BA in criminal justice. He's a former member of the Champaign Police Department. He was then brought up here. He wanted to relocate. And if anybody has anybody going down to the U of I and is looking for a cheap condo, I know where you can find one. But more importantly, he's here now with us. He's coming up on the end of his probationary period. And once again, we wanted to bring him before the City Council so that you can know who he is and he can know who you are, and form that connection between the police department and not only our elected officials, but our community. So I give you Officer Dan Dross. In keeping with the fact that you always end up with the dog act, I'd like to now introduce Officer Leica. She's our canine officer, and I have a little bit of a picture back here, which is her latest accomplishment. I forget how many pounds of weed we have there, but we have about $2,200 in cash, but more importantly, there's about 500 ecstasy pills over there. She's been doing quite a job here since she's been here, and she's been here just about a year now. She's, I think, personally responsible for the recovery of 3 guns that she has found. She's been assisting quite a few of the local police departments surrounding us with regards to execution of search warrants and the location of drugs. I know just the other night when I was perusing the summary, she was over in Elmhurst, or no, Itasca, helping out with a vehicle search over on Rolling Road. She's quite an extraordinary canine officer. Not only that, she's cute. She's got the greatest looking ears. But more importantly, she's performing another function for our police agency here, and she's out working in the community along with Officer O'Neill, and another asset that which we can use to make our community a safer place. So I wanted to bring Officer Leica before you today, just so you guys can take a look at her. I think she's completed her probationary period, and we're going to grant her full police officer status now. But more importantly, I think that we had a lot of support here in our community. We had an unfortunate event a year ago. We had quite a few people come forward and help us, and we're deeply indebted to them. But more importantly, not only did we have an individual, but we also had another corporation, and I'd like to acknowledge the fact that Jewel and Milkbone, when they heard our story, came forth and gave us $5,000 to help support this unit. So every time she goes to the vet, every time she has to get recertified, There's a lot of people behind her, and not only that, but she's helping out a lot of other people on the police department so that we can go out and do the best job that we can. So with that, I'd like to kind of just turn it over to Officer O'Neill for a couple of minutes, and he'll kind of give you a little bit more information.
Thank you, Chief. Just to give a quick overview about Leica's background, she came to us from the Netherlands. She's 3 years old this past August. We went to Von Lake Kennels in Denver, Indiana, where she's certified in narcotics, tracking, building search, article search, also apprehension. That's something that we train in every other week with the Northwest Suburban Training Group. It's comprised of all the municipalities around the immediate area here, Cook and DuPage County. As Chief said, we've had some great success with a lot of fines so far. As he stated, 3 gun seizures already, and those were dumped on a scene of a crime where several hours later, Leica located them through an article search. So she's doing a fantastic job for the community, the police department, and the surrounding areas, and solving those crimes that probably wouldn't have been solved and people would have got away. And can't say enough about her. She gives 110%. She's always ready to go. If you can see her back legs are kind of shaking, she's just ready to go. She's ready to go play and go have some fun. So with that, I thank everybody for their support, encouragement during this time, and can't ask anything more. Any questions anybody might have? Yes, sir.
I noticed when the dog came in, he had an unusual interest in John Forrest's shoes.
Yeah. Might have been somewhere, you never know. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan. And once again, these are your new hires for the police department with Officer Leica and Officer Dantros, and we appreciate the time that you've given us to come before you and introduce them. Thank you. Welcome.
Holy smokes. Holy cow.
Alderman Winger, do you want to proceed with item D at this point? Mr. Sloan.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do is present a check to Mr. Sloan, who works with the Wooddale Bensonville Food Pantry. And how this came about is I was at a women's business symposium, and I met a woman named Andrea Travoto. And she has a business in Wooddale in the industrial park. It is a sheet metal cutting business, and she and I were talking, and she had this vision of doing an event in Wooddale where different vendors would assemble outside in the summertime with tents, and there'd be a farmer's market and other vendors as well. And the proceeds from those vendors would then go to the food pantry. And that was her vision, and she talked to me about it. And I brought it forward to Wooddale staff and management, so I thank them as well for helping carry out this vision. And it was held, and there was a great turnout. There's talk about doing it next year. So what I'd like to do is present a check in the amount of $874 to Mr. Sloan, And I would also like to thank you for all of your efforts that you do for the community as well.
Well, thank you, but we don't do it without this. After I put this away, I'll thank everyone.
Dave, you want to take the opportunity and give us a little commercial for the food pantry?
Darn straight.
Okay.
I would also like to compliment Shirley on her perfume. Apparently, it was found to be very attractive by several. You're welcome, Shirley. She's an next door neighbor. Just so you know, if $875, you may think it's significant or not. It is. With where we buy food, which is the Northern Illinois Food Bank in St. Charles, this will buy almost 6,000 pounds of food. 3 tons of food with this check. And it's good stuff. It's stuff that Kellogg's and Nestle's contribute, and DuPont, all kinds of people. We make these dollars go a long way. Wooddale has become a bigger and bigger contributor to this as we have spread out a little. We got 400 families right now. And some of them come in, we're open Wednesdays and Saturdays. Some of them come in with, they're shell-shocked. They just lost a job they did for 20 years. They don't know what they're doing. Visualize yourself in that position. It's a tough sled. We do what we can. And we're 100% donor-driven. We don't have any federal funds or anything like that. It's stuff like this, exactly stuff like this, that makes us go. So you can thank us all you want, but we got to thank you, because without stuff like this, we close the doors. And thank you very much. Eddie, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks. See you. Bye-bye. This is a nice thing to do. Thank you,
Thank you.
guys. See you.
Alderman Winger, I think that brings us back to approval of bills, item number 1.
So what I will do is I will include number 1, 2, and 3 within the same motion, if that is appropriate.
I guess we're going to need 3 motions.
Okay. I make a motion to approve a list of bills dated October 1, 2009 for $611,882.55, known as pay request number 1.
Is there a second
Second.
on the question? Roll call.
Alderman Lewitton? Yes. Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
That item's approved.
I make a motion to approve pay request number 2 dated October 1, 2009 for $290,792.74.
Is there a second
Second.
on the question? Roll call.
Alderman Lewitton? Yes. Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
That passes.
I make a motion to approve a list of bills dated October 1, 2009, pay request number 3 for $208,352.39.
Is there a second on the question? Roll call.
Alderman Lewitton? Yes. Alderman Police?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Coles?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Shockey?
Yes.
That passes.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Do any citizens wish to address the city council this evening? If so, if you go to the podium and give us your name and address. Mrs. Stahl?
I'm low tech. My name is Patricia Stoll, S-T-O-L-L. Once again, I live at 145 South Cedar here in Wooddale. Have lived there since 1970, Valentine's Day. Once again, I come to address and make a request this time of the City Council concerning the ongoing issues of the landfill that has been done at 141 South Cedar, the property adjoining mine, and the subsequent deflection of storm water runoff from that property onto my property and the others in back of it. Those properties facing Iroquois. I attended the Ward 2 meeting on September 28th. A significant portion of that meeting was devoted to storm water flood issues. And some of us from South Cedar were present and addressed those issues. At that time, I asked 3 questions, and I was confirmed as being correct in my understanding of the answers. That there is an ordinance existing on the city records in which states that a property owner cannot add, fill, and raise the level of the property, especially in utility easement areas, which are also used for stormwater runoff. The direction of stormwater runoff. That no individual homeowner can discharge stormwater onto neighbors in such a way that they're creating a problem. In my words, a swamp. That there is a limit on how many inches an individual property owner can raise the property above the neighbor's, the adjacent properties. All 3 of these were confirmed as being on ordinances that are currently and have been currently active since at least 1970, I believe it's 76. And furthermore, I had run into the issue with the city engineer and building department, which did not seem to acknowledge at all that there was a 10-foot easement across the properties, the backs of the properties that face Cedar back into backyards of subsequent properties then facing Iroquois on the other side of the lines. On our property, there is a 10-foot easement. I was not equipped on the 28th of September to provide a survey, plat of survey, which indicates that. Lisa, would you give them the plat of survey? Which indicates across the back of the property, and I believe if you check with all of the other plats of survey that you have on record over the years in the building department, they will all show a property utility easement across the back.